Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Unnamed Security Show. I'm here with Jenny Duong, my co-host and partner in crime today. She is coming to us live from Taipei. How are you, Jenny?
Doing well. Hello. I guess good evening, but really it's just morning my time. Good to be
It,
back.
yeah, welcome back. Welcome back. You're coming to us live from Taipei. Do you live there? Give the audience a little bit of the background and scoop what you're doing in Asia at the moment.
Yeah, man, it's a complex story, but pretty much I'm splitting my life between Asia and North America. So 6 months out of the year, my husband and I are spending it in Taipei, Taiwan now, just for like permanent residency purposes. And then the rest of the year, I'll be in North America because, my husband and I are from Canada and the US. So yeah, I'm pretty much just working remotely out here, working for Jupiter One, fortunately, as the director of product marketing. But, other than that, just living the life, living the dream, and, doing a restream at 6 a.m. my time.
6 a.m.
Yeah,
So,
6
in
a.m.
your honor, I have a breakfast stout. So, I'll be drinking a breakfast stout for today.
Oh,
In your honor, it is a yummy, what does it say? It says something about vanilla, coffee, maple syrup, and cinnamon stout. So,
that
I
sounds.
decided, hey, it's 5 o'clock, right? If we're going to do this stream at 5 o'clock on Tuesdays, I'm allowed to drink while we do it. Do you think
Yeah,
that's fair?
you're allowed. I mean, but I am not the host of this actual podcast, so you'll have to ask Ashley when she gets back because I think that
Oh,
she
that's
the
that's
reins.
garbage. You're our official third wheel.
No, I don't want to be. I never
That's all
want.
you get to be. You get to be the third wheel.
No, I pass. Thank you though.
All right. Well, we have a pretty fun show planned today. We have a wonderful guest, Carlota Sage, who has a really cool background. I can't wait to dive into. But before we get to Carlota, I actually want to bring up a topic I just tweeted about on. For those of you that don't know, my Twitter feed is at TXS, which are my initials, TXS. So if you grab on there, you'll see a tweet I just did that talks about trying to name this show. I think we're set on a name. I think, but if a better name comes in the next 1 week, I'm willing to potentially change the name of the show as a last minute shift. Um, so I would love to, and I will be monitoring tweets of ideas for the show throughout the show and throughout this episode. You can also comment live. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're looking into figuring out how to be live on LinkedIn and potentially live on Twitter Spaces. So we're working on getting distributed more and more as we speak. That being said, I'm trying to see. Okay, yeah, no. So that's what we got going on. So if you have an idea for what to name the show, please send it my way, and we'll see what we can do. Um,
Are you
what else
gonna
is new?
incentivize anyone to?
No, well, listen to you.
Well,
Always digging for money.
if it's me, I'm always digging for gift cards, swag gifts. Why not? I
Well,
mean,
hey, I am
inflation
the
has really killed me this year, so I'll take anything for free.
so I am the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer at Jupiter One, and I do have a budget, and I do have lots of really cool swag. So if someone were to name the show and we went with it, I would not be opposed to giving some pretty awesome swag to that person. So definitely, please submit them. You have just a few days to get them in because we will have to redo graphics and design and all sorts of things between now and then. So Dave, if you're listening, my graphic design leader and expert, I'm sorry if we redo this on the last minute. Um, what else is new? What else is going on with you, Jenny? Anything? Do you have a good Christmas?
Oh yeah. My husband and I have this tradition. His name's Ivan, by the way. For those of
He's
you,
Ivan the Mad Russian.
yeah, he's Ivan the Mad Russian, who's actually Taiwanese and Canadian and has a Chinese name, but
Exactly.
self-named is self-proclaimed Ivan.
Yeah.
So every year for
And
the
I
past,
hope I hope he watches this show. I hope he watches this episode. Hey,
yeah,
Ivan the Mad Russian.
I'll send it over to him. I think like for the past 5 years or something, every year for Christmas, like the 23rd, 24th, 25th, we go on some like crazy adventure where we'll go like winter camping in Death Valley. In California, we did that. We've gone jungle trekking in Vietnam. And then this recent Christmas trek, he surprised me with, a fun experience for the week by telling me that we were going on a multi-day like backpacking, camping, and hiking trip. where we like summited 3 peaks. And it nearly killed me, honestly speaking. But I had told him that I wanted something special this year just because I wasn't with my family and I was really missing them. So I was like, you set something up, you planned it, I trust you. And with that trust, he gave me like 70 miles of hiking over the course of like 3 or 4 days. And I mean, it was fun, definitely fun. But I have a slight regret that I gave him free reign to
You
just do
you
whatever.
you have slight regret that you married him? Is that what I'm
Sometimes,
hearing?
sometimes I look at him and I think, should I have? Should I have walked away knowing that we're gonna do all of these really scary treks? Like, I'm not like, if anybody knows me, like, if anyone's met me, they know that I'm not the most outdoorsy, or I guess like the, Iron Man, Iron Marathon type of person. So like, it's just it's been a tough couple of years. He just drags
Yeah.
me to really exciting experiences. And yes, Carlota is asking in the background, did he take life insurance on me, or did he take a life insurance policy out on me? Yes, he did. It was a large sum. It was suspect. All right.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't even know where to take that story because my version of my weekend at Christmas was playing about an hour and a half of golf with my wife, and sorry, an hour and a half of tennis, and then played 18 holes of golf. And I am so
Ooh.
old and out of shape. I felt like I was going to die for like 36 hours after that. So I have no idea how you did 70 miles or whatever the heck you covered, but God bless you.
I
That's crazy.
mean, it's survive or die with every endeavor with my husband. So I usually veer on the side of survive if possible.
Hey, honey, you asked for something cool for Christmas. How about a near death experience? Would that be fun? Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
No. Like, I think there was this one time we'd set up like a multi-day hike through northern Laos, which was beautiful. I think we did 2 nights, a 3-day trek into the northern Laotian like jungle. And like before we started the trip, our local guide, who was like a village guide, he like came with us, and there was like a white patch or gauze over his left eye. And it turned out it was because he was clearing out the bamboo fields in the direction that we were headed, and a green snake fell out of the bamboo grove, bit his eye, poisoned it, and then he had to drive himself to the hospital, which was 3 or 4 hours away. So it's quite terrifying when you hear these stories. And I'm like, I remember talking to the guide and saying, when did this happen? He's like, oh, just a couple of weeks ago. And he was out working again. And I thought, I will never have the same willpower that this guy has. And I was so impressed, so just those things. I'm just grateful to live every day.
I think that, as far as our audience is concerned, I believe that the stories that Jenny could tell are over the top. They're absolutely insane. And, if we get enough likes and tweets, maybe we bring Jenny on as a guest to tell us more of her life story. But between between now and the date that we can get all the wonderful background from my co-host and producer Jenny, I do want to bring in our guest of honor today, Miss Carlota Sage. Can you bring her on?
All right, bringing her on.
Hey,
Ooh,
Hi.
hello. How are you?
Good.
good.
How are you
Welcome to
doing?
the show. How was the green room? Did you get all the M&Ms that you needed and all of the drinks that were supposed to
It
be in the
was
green room?
it was more like being put in the corner. Like you guys were like punishing me. That was really harsh. I mean, I'm shady as F. I know. But I don't know that I deserve that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
It's that name. I
So,
mean, Carlota, right?
it
Carlota.
does sound like a villainess, doesn't it? So
Yeah, so in the pre-chat, so for the audience that doesn't know, we do a little 5-10 minute pre-chat, and I commented that Carlota's name is wonderful. I love the sound; it just rolls off the tongue. I think it's the coolest name I've said in a long time. So welcome to the show, Carlota.
so happy to be here. So
Uh,
happy to
you
be here
know,
with my hang on, you went for the light stuff. I went for the beautiful Irish gold here. So
Ooh.
oh no, what do we have today? Talk to me. What is this?
we have a Connemara 22. It's a special show. I had to break out the special
Oh,
bottle here.
you went
Uh,
big bottle.
haha, yes, it was only sold at the distillery when I did the distillery tour like 5 years ago, and I've been
See.
nursing this bottle every special occasion. I indulge myself.
Oh
So
my gosh, I am so honored to be considered a special occasion. So this coming from a person, you also mentioned in the pre-show that you have over $100 bottles in your collection.
120 some odd bottles of whiskey.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Mhm.
pretty impressive. So I consider myself a bit of a whiskey connoisseur as well. And I'm at my high last year, I had 35. And I was like, wow, this is getting a little crazy. I slowed down my buying. I increased my drinking to bring that down a little bit. So I think I'm sitting about 27, 28 now.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you go, so do you go the whole gamut? Irish,
Yeah.
Japanese,
Oh yeah.
American,
I have
Scotch?
a big heart. I love all the whiskeys
Mm.
except Welsh. I don't love Welsh
I've
whiskey.
never had a Welsh whiskey. That sounds
Don't,
interesting.
don't. It's full of regret. I'm just letting you know.
Man, the Welsh
Welsh
never
whiskey.
grow
Welsh
up.
whiskey is made from the tears of regret of Welsh
That's
distillers.
it.
It sounds like.
Bitter and
No,
full of regret, like my mother.
I'm 100% a bourbon guy. Like
Mm.
99% of my collection is bourbon. I have one or two Japanese
Gotcha.
selections in there,
Gotcha.
and I have a couple of scotches, one or two scotches. But pretty much, I
Yeah.
stick to those things made in America, made sweet,
Mhm.
made for the palates of us unrefined Americans who don't like salt or peat, or, peaty flavors or earthy
Mhm.
flavors. Right?
Mhm.
We stick with the
Mhm.
sugary stuff. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's
Okay.
cool, man. I could
Yeah.
do an entire whiskey show with you. Like I could do a tasting with
Absolutely.
you. I think it would be
Yeah.
fun as hell.
Yeah. For my
Okay? One
so
question I
let me
will
let me
ask.
interject. My
Go ahead.
45th birthday, we did a 45 at 45, and we opened 45 bottles of whiskey, and I had about 100 people come through and try different. I had tried them all at some point in my whiskey career,
Mhm.
but I think I only had maybe 12 or 15 of them that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Jenny's head's about to explode. Just to let Jenny know, like when you're doing that kind of tasting, you're just tasting. You're not like
Yeah, it's just
shooting.
little
You're not
tiny
having a
sips.
dozen shots, right?
Oh,
It's like the
Right,
yeah.
right.
tiniest little taste.
I would have
So
gone
you can
hard.
do in a typical tasting night, you could probably do about a dozen, maybe
Mhm.
15 if you really feel okay with
Mhm.
waking up with a wicked headache. But that's about all you're going to get in. But 12,
Right.
man, that's pretty epic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you could pick, okay, here's the toughest question you're going to get
Okay,
for the whole night.
okay.
You can pick one whiskey to drink for the rest of your entire life. It's the only one you'll ever get again, and you can
That's
drink it every day.
brutal.
But what is it?
Oh my gosh.
You can
You're
only
gonna make
drink
it
one.
like I can't. I'm gonna take my Connemara 22 here because it is so delightful. It's just that it's the only peated whiskey, Irish whiskey. So it's just a little bit smoky and it's a little bit sweet and it's just a really pleasant drink.
So your
So
tastes are so different than mine. It's amazing. Like I wouldn't touch a peated
tiniest bit.
smoky.
It's the
e-
tiniest bit smoky.
Even a tiny peaty smoky would be off the table
Mm.
for the forever list for me.
No, I love
That's
smoky
disappointing,
whiskeys. Yeah.
You like
right?
smoky whiskeys too, Jenny?
Yeah. I mean, those are like the primary ones that I've had because I don't go for
Mm,
the sweet stuff. But don't trust
right?
Tyler's taste buds because he's having a breakfast stout and chasing it with what are you chasing it with?
Well, it was the only thing that I liked in the fridge here. I'm chasing it with a little San
See?
Pellegrino,
Yeah.
San
Oh my
Pellegrino
God.
rose. I don't know
He's
what it
got
is.
You are
very
wired wrong. I'm just letting you know that, Tyler.
pretty gross. Yeah.
Well, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Think about this for a second. Chocolate, vanilla, and blood orange. Like chocolate oranges are a thing. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah. I think we're on the
I,
other
I
team.
yeah, I can't do beers
It's
at all.
actually
I'm
quite
allergic
good
to
together.
hops, actually. It's really disappointing. So
Hmm.
I have
So
actually never had more than a sip or two of beer.
you're really not missing a lot. Actually, I primarily cut out beer about 2 or 3 years ago and switched over to almost exclusively whiskey or liquor
Mm.
or truly. I know. I
Or
know.
tea.
Sometimes you
That's
got to
just true.
rehydrate, right? And
Uh-huh.
rehydrating with an alcoholic beverage that tastes like water is perfect.
Totally. That the logic is sound. I follow.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you're trendy. You're hip with the kids because that's what they drink these days. You know.
Well, have you met me, Jenny? I'm hip with all the kids. I know all the TikTok lingo. Like I'm in.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow children.
Right. Right. I'm having water, by the way. But I mean, Tyler's really into TikTok and all of the
I
Gen
am.
Z sort of like hip millennial trends. I'm more of a millennial boomer, so I won't catch on to a lot of things.
So what would that make me like? Some kind of old head. I don't even know what the current kids are. I don't even know what the current generation's called. What the TikTok generation's called. That's how disconnected I am from this whole
You're not
generational
Gen
thing.
Z?
Okay, so and what would be?
I
Am
guess,
I
yeah, what
boomer?
does
I think I'm
couple
boomer,
after
right?
Gen Z? Yeah.
Am I boomer, Jenny?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So I'm a
you're
I'm a
boomer
boo-
who's
I'm
trying
a
to
I'm a
grow.
boomer Z.
We're
I'm sorry.
Gen
Oh,
X. Tyler, I assume that we're Gen X.
I'm 75. So what's that? Make? I think
Sure.
that makes me
I
a
see.
boomer.
I gotcha. All right, you're a boomer then. Okay,
I think
boomer.
I'm a Zoomer, a combination of a boomer and a Gen Z. I'm
No,
like
you're a
this,
boomer.
or as they do in the TikTok videos.
There you go.
So all the like 25-year-olds just recognize that trend I just did, that little dance, but nobody else on the stream did, including
Gotcha.
you two. So okay, let's actually have a conversation about something of value for the audience, other than talking about random whiskeys.
Well, if we have
Um,
to.
we don't actually.
It is
Listen,
an unnamed security show. I guess we should talk something about security.
this is
That's
my
your point.
podcast. I don't give a shit. I can do whatever I want.
Well, that's not what the box says, okay?
Except if Ashley comes back and finds out I didn't actually do the show the correct way, she'll be really angry with me. So
Okay.
out
Right.
of
Let's not
respect
get
for
Ashley. I
Ashley,
like Ashley. Let's not do that.
Ashley's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. She's the best co-host I've ever had.
I know. Well, she's coming back next week. I don't mind. I'm just filler for the last show and this show. I don't mind.
All right, Carlota, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in the cybersecurity industry. What's your background, your backstory? Where'd you come from?
My origin story. So I got bit by a spider in a wait. No. Mine is all over the place. I actually am a college dropout. That ended up going back to school. It took me 13 years to get my undergrad degree done because I just did it a chip at a time. I paid for almost all of it out of pocket. Back when you could do that.
So amazing to me, because you're the first person I've met that has taken longer than me. I took 12 years to get my undergrad.
Oh, and winner is me. Yes.
So, well done. Congratulations for never giving up.
Thank you. Yeah. And I got my undergrad degree in all things. Textile chemistry, dyes and finishes. I was a research chemist for Continent Incorporated for 8 entire months. I put myself through school doing web development because, back on Web 1.0, because all my friends were like, oh, I wish I had a web page. Like, they were all artists, right? But IBM at the time here in Research Triangle Park was charging $5,000 a page to make a website.
Whoa.
So that back in the early days. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, it can't be that hard. So I learned HTML back when you used, VI or Emacs to actually make a website. And that's how I put myself through school. I ended up being a research chemist, and oh, that's right, I'm an extrovert. Like, being trapped in the lab all day was hell for me. I spent all of my time either rewriting PhD's papers, thinking, how the heck did you get a doctorate? You're right, you can barely speak English, and then and these are native speakers, right? Like, this was not good. And networking all the lab equipment to automatically dump data into an Access database, because that's what we had. Don't get mad at me for using an Access database.
I have my experience with Access as well.
Yeah. Anyone above in our age that remembers what Access was, I imagine it's still kicking around, but God, I hope not. But yeah, so I ended up just kind of bouncing between IT operations and support operations for a good 15 years. I did a lot of large scale content management systems. I did a lot of knowledge bases. So if you went to support.netgear.com or help.netflix.com, those were my babies originally. I did a lot of knowledge strategy in Silicon Valley. And I ended up on a 6-week contract at this little startup called FireEye. And little tiny. It was 300 plus people. In April of 2013, they had just taken down the Grum botnet like 5-6 months before. So they were starting to get lots of money. And that 6-week contract ended up being like 5 years of my life. We went from 350 people in April of 2013 to, by the end of 2013, like I think 1,100 full-time and 300 contractors. And then in January of 2014, they bought Mandiant, which was another 800 to 1,000 people. So in less than a year, I was working for a company that went from 350 people to like 2,500, 2,800 people in about 10 months. So it was very fun. I definitely have no doubt in my abilities, because if anything proved I knew what I was doing, it was that experience. And I ended up taking over their communities because the marketing person they hired, who was perfectly nice, just wasn't
Yeah.
very technical, and he wasn't terribly interested in security. And he had kind of pissed off all the support engineers, and so they weren't going out into the communities and answering questions anymore.
Got it.
Yeah, and so one day, because I actually was the admin for the platform, he emails me and he's like, "I can't find documentation for our IPMI product." I'm like, "You clearly didn't Google that because then you would know that's not our product, that's a hardware standard. So what are you trying to do with IPMI? What's going on here?" And I got out there and I started answering questions in the communities, and I got addicted to it. I really loved helping security groups solve problems. And sometimes they were hardware problems, and sometimes they were product problems, and sometimes it was just, I'm having a really bad day and
So
I just need somebody to talk me off the ledge kind of problems.
about what year are you in now, roughly?
That would have been 2015-ish. Yeah,
Okay.
2014.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of is that where you would consider that the jump, the deep dive into cyber, into, oh
Yeah.
no, this is like a different world.
Yeah. This is where it's like, where has cybersecurity been all my life? Like, why did I not know about this sooner? This is totally my people. I'd been called a social engineer before by in a startup. A couple of the engineers were like, "Oh, well, everyone's technical but Carlota," which is not true. I'm actually very technical, but one of the other engineers is like, "Oh, she's the best social engineer you'll ever meet. She gets information out of you two yahoos."
Ah,
So
I got you. I
yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. So a lot of engineers go into a room with me. You have a head and you have information. You only get to keep one. Um,
What's the old fantasy novel where they chop off people's heads? There can be only one. What is
Oh,
that?
Highlander.
Yeah, it's like the
I was the
Highlander,
knowledge
right?
Highlander.
Carlota is the Highlander of cybersecurity.
That's it. Yeah. Well, and I got really interested in what was going on. And I was doing a master's at Columbia in knowledge and information strategy. And
Oh
if you know what
wow.
knowledge management is and what knowledge strategy is, it's aligning people, processes, and technology for a specific bit to optimize business outcomes. So when you hear about cybersecurity and people are like people, processes, technology, that's all from knowledge strategy. And so it became, I mean, it's no surprise to anyone that I ended up on a CISO or vCISO path, because right, that's just knowledge strategy, aligning people, processes, and technology for secure business outcomes or with risk
Right.
management in mind, right?
Got
So
it.
it's all very tied in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a boss that was just kind of awful, and he was so awful
Yeah.
that when I rage quit, I got the
Yeah.
30,000
Jenny has a pretty awful boss too, so
Oh
she's used
yeah,
to
yeah.
it.
You got to wait for the severance package, though, Jenny. I'm just letting you know. But yeah, he was just not supportive of me. I'd gotten the master's, and FireEye did not pay for that. So I wanted to
So,
get my.
so actually, I have a question for you. That this takes me back to the early comment about taking 12 years, right? I took my 12
Yeah,
years to get my undergrad. You took 13 years. You
yeah.
went back and got a master's,
Mhm.
which I find very interesting. I went back and got two of them, so I went down a very similar
Never.
path to you. What was
Why?
the
Why?
difference? Yeah, we can talk about that on a whole other show. Was there a difference for you personally from the first run to the second run that made it
Oh,
easier or more successful? Was it just access to the financial resources to complete it, or was it a maturity level? Like, was there a difference for you?
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, grad school's a different ball of wax
It is.
because you were not the product, right? In undergrad, you're the product. You're both being sold to and being sold, right?
Mhm.
So undergrad is not about you at all, and grad school is. And I knew that it would be really hard for me to get into grad school because I took 13 years. I was a college dropout. My GPA was basically 2.9 when I came out of NC State.
So,
So,
FYI, I got you
mhm.
beat. I graduated undergrad with a 2.01.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed.
So
I'm
you
just
took longer, but I got worse grades. So I'm not sure
There
who
you go.
wins there.
Well, I think it's a wash. I think we owe each other a shot of whiskey at this point. So,
Yes, sign us up.
yeah. No, I really, the reason I went back was because I had come kind of known for knowledge management in Silicon Valley, and I wanted to understand. I knew in my heart why the things I was doing were correct, right? Why they would be successful, but I couldn't articulate that to an exec.
Sure.
why it needed to be done this way. And that's the whole reason that, and I cashed out my Netflix stock because that was crazy amount of money.
Yeah, winner,
Yeah,
winner.
there was that moment where it's like, oh, I could just go home to North Carolina and buy a small house in the country for this, or I could go to get an Ivy League master's for $100,000. Like,
There you go.
and I chose to invest it myself. And it honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done. So I've done the
Okay.
full gamut, right? I've been the college dropout. I've gone to
Mhm.
community college. I graduated from a state school, and then I did my master's at an Ivy League.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. Go ahead, Jenny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that's amazing. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Like that's definitely a testament to your work ethic as well and the
Yeah,
patience, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
you had mentioned vCISO earlier. I think it's something
Mhm.
that we didn't get to yet because we're still kind of on your, I guess,
Yeah.
origin
I
story to some extent.
origin
So,
story,
so is that what
yeah.
you're doing right now? What is a
That is what I'm
vCISO?
doing
And
right
yeah,
now.
can you tell
So
us
a
about that?
virtual or fractional CISO. I actually work for a company called Fractional CISO.
Hmm.
And what that means is that when an organization is large enough, which most organizations are large enough, that they need some kind of security strategy, but they're not to a point where they can hire a CISO or invest in a security team, they come to us and they get a fraction of a CISO. So I'm basically the CISO for 8 organizations in
Wow.
that 50 to 150 person range.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there an ideal range where that starts? You said 50 to 100, but is there kind of an ideal range where and not only that, I
Yeah,
think it's a range in size, but I bet you
right.
there's also a certain level of maturity that you're
Well,
looking for. Can you describe what that
yeah,
looks
well,
like?
for our model, yes. We target that 50 to 150 employee company. We're looking at people who are SaaS. We go outside of this model, don't get me wrong. Usually
Sure.
it's a SaaS platform, an e-commerce platform, or some kind of product. We have companies with physical products. We have a security startup as a client. We have a college, a small private college as a client, right? It runs the gamut. But there are vCISOs that serve 2 to 5 person companies that are more hands-on. We're
Interesting.
purely strategic. We're going to cost you 80 to 120,000 a year for me and a cybersecurity analyst, right? So it's very reasonable. You're getting the equivalent of a full-time person for that money, or two people for that money.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's a lot more cost effective for that smaller organization to buy a fraction of our time than to hire a CISO and build out a
Right.
team.
But you
Um,
don't run as a MSSP or anything, do you?
we do
Okay, so
not.
you're just the human intelligence, the brains,
Mhm.
the
Mhm,
decisions, the actions.
mhm,
Do
right.
you partner with MSSPs or, when you
We
put out
can.
this? Okay, I see.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Usually our client already has one. Like if our
mhm,
client has an internal IT department, that's actually pretty unusual and very exciting
yeah.
because they've got somebody. Often they're reporting into the CTO. We do have a few clients that are large enough to have CIOs, but for the most part, they've outsourced a lot of that. They're outsourcing, and that's really common. I've got a client in Silicon Valley right now that outsources everything. They're 90
Interesting.
people, and in order to grow quickly, they have leveraged partnerships extremely efficiently,
Yeah. So
which is interesting.
follow on
Hmm.
question to that is,
Hmm.
I think there's a certain demographic of
Hmm.
company, and demographics
Hmm.
maybe not, firmographic I guess is a better word,
Hmm.
of company that
Right.
is kind of more maybe strategically forward
Hmm.
thinking and
Hmm.
tool forward thinking.
Hmm.
If you're describing like those kind of companies, hey, we're going to build this company up from the cloud, in the cloud,
Hmm.
cloud native from day one,
Hmm.
kind of that company that's
Hmm.
super small, that's
Hmm.
probably a perfect fit for something you're trying to do.
Right.
What's the first tools you roll out in that environment? What's the first, like, all right, we get
MFA.
in, you guys have great tech, it's all cloud native, it's all amazing. You need X, Y,
Literally,
and Z to
Yeah.
get going.
And then to
literally
tap,
turn on MFA.
yeah.
Literally, that is the first
Two
thing I do with
factor.
anyone. Literally, because nobody ever has it on. Or if they have it on, it's not consistent, or it's not enforced at the
Sure.
platform level. It's on, the individual.
Mhm.
And we just go through and it's like, get your patch management under control, get your MFA turned on everywhere and enforce it, get a password manager in there. You
Wow.
know, yeah, those are literally the first thing I do with pretty much every customer except for the security group.
Mhm. And
Hmm.
and I guess to take a step back a little bit, oftentimes when are these businesses or organizations coming to look for a fractional
Oh,
CISO?
Yeah, so there's kind of three driving forces there. One is that they are big enough that they're starting to target up market, and
Mhm.
those clients want a SOC 2, right?
Got it.
So those, especially after SolarWinds and Kaseya, more and more companies are wanting some evidence that you have some sort of security program. So client pressure is going to be the number one driver. Number two driver is board/investors, right? We're putting money in you. You better be secure.
Those
We're
pesky
putting,
investors.
I know, right? Right. Um, and the third one, shockingly, is cyber insurance. We had a
Oh, wow.
flood of people in Q3 and Q4 that were calling because their cyber insurance company had canceled them.
And is that a
Really?
dovetail off of ransomware? Is it because of all the ransomware issues?
I think cyber insurance has figured out they've got, and I could be wrong about this, right? I think they have enough data now to go, okay, if you have no security program whatsoever, you are a loss. We cannot insure you because we are going to lose
Mm.
money. So they're literally cutting those folks and saying, look, go get a security program. If you can't afford a CISO, go get a virtual CISO. So we actually had several like cyber insurance companies I'd never heard of referring people specifically to us because
Wow.
we've got a great name, right? Fractional CISO, and we've got a good reputation. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
Jenny, you want to follow on or you want me to follow on?
Yeah, you follow on. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about trends.
Okay.
Um, in 2021, I feel like, and even before 2021, I feel like cloud, APIs, digital transformation were kind of the hot it trends.
Mhm.
Um, on the back of Log4j, do you
Mhm.
think that we see trends about security for supply chain and software becoming a more important buzzword in the market in
Mm.
2022? Or do we end up sticking with the traditional stuff that we've always said, hey, let's find out what we have, how to secure it, kind of the fundamentals as we move into 2022?
Right.
I'm biased in both directions. Jupiter One
Right.
solves the problem of knowing what you have and all of those things. I'm an investor in an AppSec company
Mhm.
that's a forward-thinking
Mhm.
AppSec company that does
Mhm.
supply chain. So I'm happy either way. But
Right.
that being said, I'd love your opinion. Which one do you think becomes, or is there some other third trend that I didn't even mention that's
You-
like, hey, no,
Yeah.
everybody's going to care about X?
So I think there's two sides to this, right? Because the mainstream media didn't start picking up on Log4j because it doesn't have a sexy name. And it's not
Mm,
really obvious, right? Like there's no splashy screen that they can grab a screenshot of, right? Log4j is basically an enabler of other attacks, right? So mainstream media has really not picked up on it. In fact, I was just reading an article today, dated yesterday. Like, oh my gosh, like we've been dealing with this for a couple of weeks, and the mainstream media is just going, oh, there's this massive cyber attack going on, and it's not catchy. So for the public awareness version, it's not going to drive a lot. I don't feel like. I feel
So,
like
so real quick. So, for any marketers viewing this, name your vulns way cooler than Log4j if you want to have impact.
right? And get a cooler logo. I mean, the logo's so bad that my boss hired someone to make a new logo for our stuff, a
Oh,
new
jeez.
Log4j logo for our branded stuff, and he's like, okay, anyone can use it because the logo is so bad for it. And so yeah, go grab that. Yeah, I think that from an organizational awareness, though, what it's really helped is it's really put pressure on the fact that if you don't have good asset management, you don't know what you have.
Mhm.
That's a problem. If you don't have a strategic thinker, like I've had clients who just panic, like IT directors who panicked because they're like, this thing is everywhere. What do I do? Because it is so pervasive in your environment. It's like, okay, you start at the perimeter with things that are facing out. You check those. Okay, great. You're not using Java. Are you using Apache or Elasticsearch or Elk?
Right.
Do you have an Elk stack, right?
Yep.
Any of those search or logging tools are going to be using that. So you got to start that way and just kind of stepping people in. So it's kind of interesting to see how IT teams reacted to that because their first instinct is to protect the laptop, and that's not your biggest threat model there,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
the biggest exposure.
Yeah.
So I think it's driving kind of organizational awareness. I think it is driving some organizational awareness around third party open source platforms using those kinds of things. It's driven some really great discussions, at least in InfoSec Twitter, about using open source and the expectations of commercial groups using open source and not contributing back. Yeah, that's a problem.
So you did an amazing job of saying both trends are important, which makes me very happy. So I am totally cool with that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's interesting to know. Do you see any kind of predictions or other trends that would be coming for 2022 that people should be paying
2022.
attention? Yeah.
I think I think the interesting thing, and we'll see if this pans out with Log4j, I think people are going to be looking more for things like that. Like, what are these features that we're using that actually open us to a very broad spectrum of attacks? I think we're going to see more researchers maybe pushing on that front, and maybe coming back with some really stupid things, but maybe also coming back with some really interesting things that, I think there's a bigger awareness around using open source and not giving back. It makes us all less secure, period. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to watch out for next year. I think we're going to see more and more on that asset management. The basics are still the things that get ignored the most, right?
So true.
Yeah. So, and just even in terms of asset management, as a vCISO, of course, I struggle with, my clients are in the 50 to 150 range. We are not a reseller. We are purely advisory. So I'm going to present somebody to my client. I need to know if they actually serve that market segment.
Sure.
And the number of organizations that don't is staggering. They still, security, a Jupiter One, of course, is an exception. You do serve my market, fortunately.
We do. Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Like, Jupiter One has saying that, we believe that security is a basic right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to turn this podcast or video podcast, or what is this even called? A vlog, a video? I don't know, whatever this TV show. I don't want to see, I'm such an old head boomer. It's crazy. Like, I don't even know what to call this show. Anyways, I don't want to turn the show into an advertisement for Jupiter One per se, but you're right? It's like, we believe that it should be a basic right, especially for the size that you're talking about.
Right.
Everybody, like, we will never make a business off the back of 5 to 50 person companies. We just won't do that. It's just not enough money to be had there. So you know what? You get our stuff for free. Go use it. Go be awesome with it. And then someday, when you turn into the 500, 5,000, 50,000 person company, you can come back and continue to use us. And I think that's the way vendors in general, especially if they have a SaaS product that allows self sign up and straight ease of use, that's low cost to the vendor to maintain. Give it away. Let the small guys use it for free.
And security awareness groups have caught on to this, right? Wiser gives a lot of their stuff away. Curricula, you can sign up without having to go to a salesperson. Ninja, I'm still having to get POs from you. That sucks. There's no reason for a 150 person company you shouldn't have an automated sign up, and that should all be automatic. Because here's the reality, especially for those security awareness training, which you're charging like $150 a head per month per year, you're missing out on a lot of money by not having that automated or simple subscription sign up. Because there's 1,000 Fortune 1000 companies. There's 5.6 million small businesses in the United States.
Give it away free, or at such a nominal price that they can afford it. Make sure they can afford it.
Well, and that's the thing. At $150 a head, per month, per year, that you're not making your money on each individual sale. You're making your money on the volume of sales. So while you may only make a few bucks on one sale, you multiply that by 1 million sales. Like, now you're making a couple $1 million. And if you're automating all of that, and it's not taking a person, and your resources are cheap, if you're making $1 million off of $100,000, infrastructure, do it. Like, that's practically free money. Come on.
Yeah.
It's
so,
no-brainer.
Jenny.
Oh, I was gonna actually go in a completely different tangent that I wanted to know about. Are you good with that, Tyler?
100%. I wanted to tee you up because we're at about 40 minutes. and I
Oh,
really want to get this topic in, so I wanted to make sure you got your time.
Yeah. So, I know that you have a pretty diverse background
mhm.
and you spend your time in really interesting ways. I had heard that you're really into hands-on renovation of muscle cars, and I also heard something about kitty rescues. But I also know that you do other things like the Diana Initiative. So, I mean, I'd love to hear about
Yeah,
your general hobbies, but, I want to hear about
absolutely.
the Diana
Don't
Initiative.
don't let it be said that my producers don't do their research, because they
Oh my
clearly do their
goodness. Oh
research.
my goodness. It is not muscle cars. It is cheap, crappy Asian cars, actually. I
Oh,
have a
even
Oh,
lot
wait,
of
wait.
better.
Isn't that called like JD something?
JDM.
JDM. My
Yes.
son's all into JDM. Well, he's not really
Yeah.
into JDM, but he's into like modifying cars. And yeah,
Right.
Jenny's
Right.
like, oh my God. So once again, my young youthful nature trumps you, Jenny.
I know. I know.
I'm such a Gen Z in heart.
You're gonna make it in the new world and I won't, and it's okay.
Pretty
It's
much
okay.
that's
You
what'll
will
happen.
have
So
refuge if you're in the United States. You can have refuge in my garage.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I've got lots of apocalyptic cars for us to drive around.
so tell
Right.
us a little bit about those hobbies. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh gosh. I started out, I was racing cars for a while, and then I realized I liked building them more than I liked driving them. And so I've got a couple of Mazda Miatas. I've
Okay,
got
yeah.
one Miata that's got a rotary engine in it, which is not native
Mhm.
to that car. I've got a couple of really unusual 88 Mazda 323 GTXs. They're little four-wheel drive hot hatchback cars from the late
Yep.
80s. They're
Is it
killer.
a RX-8 or RX-7 rotary that you got in that Mazda?
Oh, in the Mazda, yeah, in the Miata, it's an RX-7. It's a
Yeah,
91
it's an
Wingo.
RX-7. The RX-7 rotaries
Yeah.
are amazing. So
So
see, once again, I just wowed Jenny with my knowledge of random things. Um, that's
This isn't
cool.
about you, Tyler, it's about me. Come on,
No,
let's
it's
go.
always
about,
about me.
yeah.
It's my show. It's 100% about me.
Oh my god.
Okay, fair
This
enough.
is
I'll take
yeah,
it.
this is why I'm not joining next week, so you know. This guy. No, that's fantastic. So you rebuild these cars from
Mhm.
the beginning, like, do you just pick
Yeah,
up, like, the
I'll
cars
just
that,
drag them out of a field, for a couple $100, and, like, I bought a beautiful silver 1990 Miata, out of a field in Boulder, Northern California,
Mhm.
and Boulder Creek, California.
That's
Dragged it
so
down the mountain, took it apart, realized it just needed a fuel pump, put a $150 fuel pump in it, and drove it like that for a few months. And then the
Cool.
transmission died, and I had to rebuild that. But yeah, Miatas are
how did you learn all that stuff? Where'd that
really
knowledge come from?
don't
Yeah. How did you have the time between the
learn
master's,
anything.
13 years of education and or 12 years of education and all the other stuff?
Yeah, I get bored easily, and taking things apart. So I used to build my own computers back in the day. Back in the 90s, I would build my own computers, and I was a big hardcore gamer. And then I grew up a little bit and got to playing with cars. And the more money I got, the more interesting my hobbies became. Now I have enough money to travel, right? So my hobby now is traveling and collecting whiskey wherever I
Collecting
go.
whiskey.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a really not a cheap. It's
It
not a
is
cheap
not a
hobby.
cheap hobby. Mm-mm. Not in any way.
But it is a very tasty hobby. I will give it that. But yeah, the cat rescues, my housemates. I've been living with some friends for the last year while I sell my parents' house in Alabama so I can build a house here in North Carolina, which will be my next hobby because I'll have somebody build the shell and I'll do all of the interior work,
Oh wow.
because I'm very picky about how my bathroom is. So, that's my next big project. But my roommate, my housemate's Carmen, is this amazing vet tech, and she volunteers and rescues cats, and she gets all the special needs cats, right? The ones that need shots, and she had rescued this adorable kitten. Alley Cats and Angels and Carrie had rescued this adorable kitten with, it's called wet FIP. She was paralyzed. Her hind legs were paralyzed. She was dragging them around. It's usually a fatal disease. It's a coronavirus that attacks cat brains.
Oh my gosh.
And they managed to get shipped direct from China an 86-day shots regimen of something to help combat the coronavirus. And this kitten, she's a little bit wobbly, right? She's got a little neurological damage, you can tell, but she runs and jumps and plays.
Oh,
And
Oh, what
it
a
is
great story.
amazing. It is
no,
amazing.
yeah,
I
that is
fell
nice.
in love with this cat, but I couldn't adopt her because I travel so much.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so a friend of mine, 2 hours south of us, adopted her. but I cried so hard
Oh my
letting her go. She
gosh.
was so
But that's
sweet.
such a wonderful story. That's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So, once I have my house built, I'll build the epic catio, and whenever I'm in town, right, I'll foster kittens while I'm around, and then pass them on to the next foster when I'm
Yeah.
traveling.
I
Yeah,
I mean, good for you. That's
That's
good to
awesome.
know. I am thrilled that I know so much more about you because
aw.
you have so many more interesting factoids than Tyler one.
That's true.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, can you
so
tell me a little bit about your work with the Diana Initiative,
yeah,
maybe?
I want to make sure we get that in. We only have a couple
Yeah,
minutes to
okay.
discuss it before we
Yeah,
play our game, but I do want to
sure.
hear about that because I think it's such a wonderful initiative. Jupiter One has actually done a couple things with the Diana Initiative already, and we want to
Fantastic.
continue to support it going forward. So tell us a
Excellent,
little bit about
excellent.
what you're doing there.
Well, I'll send you the prospectus after this. But I started out. I found them through a B-Sides Las Vegas when I was in LV one year, right, for Hacker Summer Camp, and I went. And the next year I volunteered, and the next year I was on staff, and then they invited me to be on the board. And it's been an amazing experience. It's a tremendous group of people. And originally it was women in cybersecurity. It was focused on that, but with the Black Lives Matter movement and just trying to make sure that we're sharing the mic and make sure that we are actually acting on the ethos that we're saying, that we're claiming. We're actually pushing more on the diversity driven conference
Oh,
every
that's
year
awesome.
in Las Vegas. So if you're out for Black Hat and or DEF CON, we're kind of smushed in there in between. But this year we'll actually have a virtual event about 6 weeks before the in-person, because we know not everyone can afford to go to the in-person. So we want to make sure, and last year we had just an amazing response of women and minorities, LGBTQ, people of color, indigenous groups all over the world, not just in the United States, that were interested in cybersecurity and felt welcome and felt like they had a safe place where they could be themselves and learn about cybersecurity. And it's been an amazing experience. So
That's
definitely invite
such a
you to,
good group.
yeah, go to Diana Initiative. Ooh, that's good stuff. DianaInitiative.org. and yeah, or follow their Twitter. Come see
Yeah.
me on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We have our next in-person is August 10th, I believe. So yeah, come visit us. It'll be great.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
I definitely recommend for the audience to take a peek at the Diana Initiative
Mhm,
website. We've done a couple different webinars with the initiative over the last
mhm.
6, 8, 10 months. I don't know how long it was, and we definitely, as a group here at Jupiter One, support the Diana Initiative. Jenny, did you have any other questions you want to ask Carlota before we
No,
move into
no.
the final segment of the
Okay.
show?
Yeah, no, this has been a
Good.
pleasure getting to know you, honestly.
Oh, I
So,
loved every minute of it.
I'd
Yeah, we'll
love to
have
get to
to
hear you
get
drum
together at DEF CON.
too.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely get together at Black Hat and DEF CON. I'll be there for
Great.
sure. I'm not sure where Jenny will be. She's like our where in the world is Carmen San Diego. So we never exactly know where Jenny is at any given moment. But if she's near Las Vegas this summer, I will make sure she gets to
Oh, or
gets over
Jenny,
there.
next time I'm in the Philippines, it's not that
Ooh,
far to Taiwan.
it's not
I'm
that
just
far.
saying.
Yeah, yeah.
If
Because
you're
I'm
in
on the
town,
run.
I'll pop over.
Exactly. I'm really on the run from the IRS and the US government. So,
Jenny,
Fair
this
enough.
is a
Fair
live
enough.
show. You can't say those things.
No
just
crimes were
kidding.
committed during the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
All right, game on.
super producer Jenny, please press that magic button and
Yeah.
bring up the graphic. Let's get the
Sure.
game going for our
Sure.
final segment of the evening. We will be playing a game
Yep. And
called
1 second. Let me see if I can
Geez,
pull
look,
this up correctly.
geez,
Woohoo. Can you see my screen?
Oh
The Price
boy.
is Right
Oh no.
NFT edition.
All right. So one of the great things about this game is that I am a self-proclaimed millennial boomer. So I actually hate all futurist things. But for the effort of this podcast and to
Okay.
make my producer proud, I've put together a couple of NFT images. And basically the premise is simple. I just want you guys to have a look at, 2 different images, NFT
Okay.
images,
Okay.
and guess the price one, and then figure out or decide which which NFT image is, more expensive, essentially.
Okay.
Okay.
So very
All right.
quickly before we get going here, this is a game I have no insight into, Carlota. So we're going to be playing this together, you and I, with our host Jenny driving the screen. So Jenny, the way it works is we're going to be putting up 2 images, and we have to decide which ones sold for more money. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So, and for those members of the audience that don't know what an NFT is, well, you're in luck. I don't really either. So we're going to be on equal footing. No, that being said, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They're crypto-based. In this particular example that we'll be going through, it's crypto-based artwork that is, guaranteed to be one of a kind based off the NFT token, and you can sell that artwork on places like OpenSea and other NFT transaction platforms. I know way more about it than Jenny because she is a self-proclaimed, what did you call yourself? Millennial boomer?
Millennial boomer, proud. Okay.
Yeah.
Proud
All right.
Okay.
So let's get this game going.
Yeah. Before we start, I just needed to make sure that I pay tribute to The Price is Right. Hold on. All right. Anyway.
The sound of my childhood.
Okay, I've got some background around some of the images, so I'll make sure to give you guys some of the background that I have.
Let's go.
Image number 1, Every Day's the First 5,000 Days. So in 2007, Mike Winkelmann, a digital artist also known as Beeple, set out to create a post of new work of he set out to create and post a new piece of work every day online. So he created 5,000 days of work straight. So I think that before this piece was sold as an NFT, I think the most that he'd ever sold for a print was $100. All right, so just some background there. Pox the Merge. Poc is a pseudonym for a collective artist that's been in the forefront of the digital art and crypto media for the last 20 years. And I think he's also known for creating the Archulette, I believe, which is an AI built to discover and create and share, or built to discover and share stimulating visual media. I think it's shared on Twitter. It's kind of an AI bot on Twitter. So, all right. So love for you guys to, I think I gave you guys an easy one because this was covered pretty heavily in the media.
This is the first time hearing of either of them.
Okay. Take a guess at how much these NFT artwork sold for. Just take a guess because it kind of kills me.
I'm going to go at least 100,000, and I would say for the first 50,000 days, maybe even as much as 500,000.
Ooh, okay.
So we're not guessing which one. Are we guessing which one sold for more?
I'll let you make that guess. I've made I've staked my claim in the ground that they're more than 100,000 each.
It is Beeple and over $1 million.
Over $1 million. All right. Okay. Big reveal. Wow.
Holy smokes.
So
I am in the wrong business.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of insane, right? I think that Pox the Merge recently sold earlier this month and is the most expensive sort of NFT art sold. And I believe that it was bought for almost 100 million, but it was bought across 28,983 collectors. So I think it was sold in kind of an open edition bid, and we kind of shared it as a community. So yeah, there's no doubt that we are in the wrong business, Carlota.
Wow. Just wow.
All right.
Crazy.
Yeah. I've got a couple more images, and for the sake of time, I think I'll go through maybe 1 or 2 more of these. But
let's do it.
Yeah, I've got nothing to say outside of I wish I were an artist right now.
All right, Jenny, bring up the next ones, but don't give us background. I think we should guess just seeing the images.
No problem. Okay.
I'm so glad I suggested that because the difference between these images is so different.
Yes.
It is. I'm going to go with 7804 is the more expensive.
Ooh, why is that? I mean, he's got.
I agree. He's smoking a little something.
He's smoking. That dude is smoking, literally.
And I think NFT buyers are usually smoking something too, so it's a good match.
There you go. And I imagine they tend to be anti-vaxxers as well, so maybe the mask thing doesn't go as well for them.
So yeah, I agree. 7804, and I think it sold for 6.8 million.
6.8 million.
I'm gonna go 10 times that. I'm gonna say 60 million.
Oh,
ooh, okay, 60 million. All right.
Let's go. Let's
Ready,
see.
Set, boom.
Oh, wow. No,
close.
you're right. You're right on the 6, but yeah. Oh wow, the masked guy went.
Yeah. I mean, so this is part of like the CryptoPunks like collective and entire series. So there are, I think, over 10,000 unique collectible characters that are made in this style. And you can actually like look up every individual like, you know, sort of NFT. And I mean, the only difference between these is, you know, one has an earring and a knitted cap and a medical mask, and the other has a pipe, has sunglasses and a hat.
Yeah.
But I mean,
these are really simple 8-bit images.
Yeah. And it sold for over 10 million. At least the right hand one did.
Okay. You and I are doing a new startup.
The scary thing is, if someone paid me $11 million, I would literally go through every individual square of that image and turn on by hand the color for each individual pixel for $11 million. And I would still probably be way ahead for the process.
There is so much I would do for 11 million. I'm being honest. I'm just being honest.
All right. Take us to the next one, Jenny.
All right. Next one. Okay.
Oh, right click and save as guy.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Steph Curry's NFT sneakers.
Oh,
that's a tough call.
It's a tough call. Yeah.
I gotta go Steph Curry's NFT sneakers just because of the massive like brand recognition of who he is.
Yeah. I want to go that way, but I'm feeling contrarian. So since you went that way, I'm going to go the other way. Just different.
I respect that. Let's
go head to head here.
Yeah. How much do you guys think these were, you know, sold for, each individual NFT?
I think Steph is at 16 million.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So clearly I overshot.
Okay.
16 to 20 million. Yeah. Let's go with it.
16 to 20 million.
We're just throwing numbers out the air at this point.
Yeah, so throw it out, because there's no concept. It's like the market right now.
Right. It's crazy.
Everything's going up.
Right.
Boom. All right. Yeah. The
$300. Come on.
The left-hand one was sold for $7 million. However, the Steph Curry NFT one, it's interesting because the NBA has been getting into sort of clips.
The Top Shot stuff.
Yeah, so essentially Steph Curry, a recent crypto, you know, convert, he released I think it was over 2,000 images of this particular, you know, sneakers image, and they all sold. So I think that the total for each of the individual sold was $990,000.
But he flooded the market, so that was a bad move. You can't flood the market. You gotta make them rare.
I mean, I think that it was really just kind of like a PR stunt, a marketing stunt. Honestly, I think he partnered with Under Armour to release it. So, you know, folks are getting wet, getting their feet wet in the game, and just getting into it. I mean, it's not my thing, but obviously, people are making money.
Yeah, I see long-term potential there, and people will rag on NFTs. They are the watermarks that artists have been begging for so long. But the energy that it takes to make it is just so insane. Like until we reach some level of equity on that side, they're not viable for the common artist.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that. I mean, I think I have a different perspective on it because I feel like with the creation of NFTs, it's kind of like bringing out the worst in society. I mean,
everything does though, right? Every new technology brings out the worst. I'm just amazed that the government hasn't managed to weaponize this yet, or maybe they have, and we just haven't noticed.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, you're a futurist here. What do you think?
Oh, you don't want to hear that. That'll end up taking the show from 59 minutes to like 130 minutes easy. Do we have one more of these to run through?
One more of these to run through, and it'll be the last one for this show.
Is it the coolest one in your selection? Because I know we're cutting you a little short here.
No, it's not. But it shows
Jump to the coolest one. Jump to the one you think is the best one.
No. But I like this one quite a bit because
Okay.
there's no concept for me. So
Wait a minute. This is a video.
yeah, this one is a video. It's a 92-second video of unseen footage from Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love. And it's sold. It was the first Asian film NFT that was sold, I think, this past year. And the second one is, I mean,
Yeah.
it's I think it was another NFT. I'm sorry, another cryptocurrency. I think it was writing out test and then sharing it to the NFT market for purchase.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So-
go with the right hand one.
Yeah, the
because
right
it's
hand
so crude, right?
All
Like,
day
it's
long.
basic.
All day long. And here's why. Because
Yeah.
you said it was like another cryptocurrency writing the word test out,
Mhm.
which is like a man on the moon moment in some buyer's eyes for a $10 million purchase.
Mhm.
Okay. All
I'm gonna
right.
roll with
All
that.
right. You ready for the review?
Let's
We
see
are.
it.
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
What?
That's right. Yeah. So In the Mood for Love was slightly more
Interesting.
expensive, which is great because it's a masterpiece. If you haven't seen that movie, highly
Okay.
recommend it. Yeah, one of the best movies of all time between the cinematography and like just the
Alright.
writing.
And,
Yeah,
and
the Hong Kong film.
FYI, Jenny's movie selections suck.
They do not. I've got a diverse palette.
All right,
We'll take movies
take
later.
down this NFT video so I can see you both as we run out of the show tonight.
All right.
And longest show ever. Woo! I win.
Woo!
That was really cool, Jenny, and I know you put a lot of
That was
time into
amazing.
prepping up that data and that information.
I
That
should
was
feel
awesome.
educated.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was
No, I
awesome.
appreciate you playing, so thank you.
Yeah.
Other than
We're
your
just-
bad selections of movies, I thought it was good. Good
Well,
work.
I guess with the NFT game, were there any winners? Truly, I'm not sure.
So
The people who got the money, they were the
yeah,
winners.
trust me, there's winners in the NFT game. It's just not you and me. So
That's
Carlota, Jasmine says hello.
Hello,
In
Jasmine.
the comments.
Yeah.
Valerie Zargapur made a comment to you, Jenny, while you were going through all of your romantic dates with Ivan.
Oh yeah.
She says that it's really just Ivan plotting your demise, so be ready for that. She feels that you
That's
will
it.
not make it long term with Ivan, not because your love is not there, but because he's going to kill you eventually.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate
that's
that.
our and that's our live commentary
That's awesome.
for today.
Excellent.
Carlota, what's your Twitter off the top of your head, please?
Carlota Sage. All
Bang,
one word.
done.
Just
All one word.
done. I'm
I'm
it.
TXS, Tyler X Shields.
That's
Jenny
really
is a
amazing.
Luddite and is not on Twitter, and she refuses to get there.
And you're in marketing? What?
Yep, I know. I'm one of
What?
those weird marketers. I'm sorry.
And we are Jupiter One at Jupiter One on Twitter. So again, for those of you that are following us, thank you very much for being guests of the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We talked a little bit about security, a lot about non-security topics, a little bit about NFTs and crypto. I think we had a fun little foray into interesting topics. Oh,
Thank
and
you.
most importantly, whiskey. And then, thank you, Carlota, for being on the show.
Thank you both for having me. It was a delight, and I will see you at Hacker Summer Camp.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll definitely see you this summer. Okay, thank you, everybody, and we'll go ahead and sign off today. Jenny, click that button that says bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Carlota. Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you.